My passion was always about learning businesses. How would they operate? What are the problems that they're trying to solve? किसी की जाज भी how would take Pakistan to the next level, right? हमारे पास talent है, हमारे पास manpower है.
Okay, talking about youngsters and freelancers, do you think we lack in policy making?
Definitely. I won't miss the words. We are definitely. क्या help कर रहे हैं हम अपने youngsters की? सबके लिए एक rules बनाया. VIP culture, take out that VIP culture off the table. If I'm in bureaucracy, and that's the only way country will be successful. सिंगापुर में प्राइम मिनिस्टर भी उसी लाइन में लगा रहेगा जहाँ पे जिस लाइन में हम हैं.
मैं हूं आपका होस्ट अरसलान और आज हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं मिस्टर अक्काशा सुल्तान. टेक्नोलॉजी की दुनिया में वैसे तो किसी भी तारुफ के मोहताज नहीं, लेकिन अगर मैं इनका एक छोटा सा इंट्रोडक्शन आपको कराता चलूं तो मिस्टर अक्काशा सुल्तान ने कुछ बड़ी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के साथ काम किया है, जिसमें ही हैज़ वर्कड विद ओरेकल, माइक्रोसॉफ्ट. Currently he is working as area vice president at Salesforce and Tableau. तो हम इनको वेलकम करते हैं अपने शो में. वेलकम ऑन द शो.
Thank you so much, Arsalan. Thank you so much for the nice words. So I hope कि तुम और बोलते और बताते मेरे बारे में, but thank you so much. There were some kind words and you've got a great setup here. I love the word Techistaan, technology का Pakistan, and I love this was as well. We were looking at the tag and I don't want to expose it.
Thank you so much. तो कुछ अपने बारे में और हमारे देखने वालों को बताइए.
Acha, I think you've covered most of the part, but if I look at my career, I was very much interested to become an Oracle DBA to start with, right? So when I started off, when I was in my university, I wanted to learn about Oracle. I wanted to become a DBA. But then when I started off my first job in the industry, my passion was always about learning businesses, understanding the real problems that you can potentially solve for business, and then bridge the gap between technology and the business, right? So that's how I built a career. 25 years, I've worked with different companies, but my personal passion was literally if I'm in front of a manufacturing concern, how would they operate? What are the problems that they're trying to solve? How can I help them in terms of improving their efficiencies on the production line? Those are the things that I was always passionate about. So just to keep you simplest answer, those are the things that I've been passionate about. Been into multiple roles. Pakistan में काम किया है. Pakistan में spent about 10 plus years. Oracle में काम किया. उसके बाद I moved to region in Singapore, living in Singapore for last 14 years or so. My role was really around most of the ASEAN countries. And the best part of this is where you're working with developed countries and you're working with emerging countries, right? So countries like Singapore, which is ahead of the curve. So what is it that I can learn from Singapore and then I can replicate into other markets? So those are the passions that I would go by.
So living in Singapore for past 14 years, what if I ask you, how do you see the technology landscape of Pakistan today?
देखो, so Pakistan for me is a high growth potential market. When I look at our talent in the market, especially when I look at the youth, I could see 60% of our population is a combination of young people, right? When I look at the freelancing market, I think we are number 4 in the world. So amazing job. There must be some amazing work done by the individual itself, right? I think Pakistan is very much positioned to be one of the technology hub for the world, provided that we get support from our policymakers and we give our talent a path to remain within the country, serve within the country, and excel within their career. And if we can make that happen, you have examples in our neighbors. They can look what India has done. Look what Philippines is trying to do. Look what's happening within Vietnam. So some of those countries are where we've created those environments whereby youth is fostering and they have a path, they have a strong path to remain within the country and still be able to excel. But to me, the future is bright.
Okay, as a technology leader or a technology guru, I would say, We have made a few questions for you to answer. I hope
Okay.
you would be comfortable. Allow me to
I'll
ask.
ask the easiest one, please.
Okay. So, if you had to pitch Pakistan tech scene as a startup to the world, how would you describe it in one sentence?
So look, I like I said, I'm an absolute firm believer of the talent in Pakistan. So for me, these are the smartest people. And then when I look at the other part of where are we different, I think we can come at a very good price. So smartest people at the lowest price.
Okay. What's a local habit challenge or everyday desi hack you think deserve a tech solution but किसी ने अभी तक बनाई नहीं है?
Sellers, one of the oldest profession in the world. हम जो बात कर रहे थे कि being in the sales industry, being in the head of sales and strategist, why would if I can use AI, if I can use whatever is coming up within AI, I would love to build a seller which can really understand what's going on in your mind. Okay. How do you think the process? How can I sniff the whole process of procurement? Can I understand your requirement and being able to give you a solution? So I would create an AI persona with guardrails that can automate the entire process, and that I will use it to augment a human, to support a human to do more.
Okay. Okay. So next question is, imagine your next big project has zero limitations, no budgets, no approvals. What would you build first?
बहुत सारी चीज़ें आ सकती हैं. अगर मेरे पास, if I understand you correctly, what you're saying is unlimited resources.
बिल्कुल.
मुझे कोई process follow नहीं करना.
Total freedom.
Total freedom है. ठीक है. And
पैसे भी बहुत हैं, approvals भी नहीं करानी और किसी की इजाज़त भी.
किसी की इजाज़त भी. I would take Pakistan to the next level, right? The opportunity in Pakistan. Look at अल्लाह मियाँ ने हमें क्या नहीं दिया, अल्लाह ताला ने हमें क्या नहीं दिया. हमारे पास टैलेंट है, हमारे पास मैन पावर है, हमारे पास resources हैं across the region, but we've not been able to materialize it, right? So for me, I would try and do something crazy. And I would learn from the neighbors and say, what is it that we can do something very different? I would create an AI national level program which can augment our youth to do more for the world. And this could be anything in the lines of literally using AI, using technology to our advantage, get things done much faster, and do this at the national level.
Next question. What's a piece of advice or feedback you once ignored in your career but later realized that it was a gold?
I think so many feedbacks. So many feedbacks that I've ignored and I've paid the price. And if I were to go back, I remember the earlier days of part your career whereby you're trying to learn and you were trying to see कि जी किस तरीके से आपने excel करना है, and then you also shop around. At times in early part of your career you shop around one way to the other. But I remember one advice which one of my managers has given is कि भाई जिस वक्त आप emotions में हैं, जिस वक्त आपके पास pressure में है, and if you're writing an email, write an email, make sure that everything is there, but don't press the button. Don't press the send button. Keep it in your draft. Spend 24, 48 hours on that draft. And then after 48 hours, if you still feel the urge of sending that email, go ahead. But wait. And initially I've ignored and I paid the price because when you're not in your normal state, you made some mistakes. But over the years, this has been my habit. Even in intense situation, I would create a draft, put this into email, and then maybe next morning, okay, I'm in, I'll go all out.
So it means it means if you are angry, don't react immediately.
True. Very true.
Any piece of advice you would like to give our youngsters?
Any piece of advice. So I think if I look back and if I look at my career, The only bit of advice that I would give is focus on things that matters, right? In the longer run, we spend so much of time solving for today's issues that we miss out on the bigger picture. Zoom out. My example, C language, Visual Basic. All of these languages are important, but that's not the end game. The end game is understand the patterns of coding, which is important. Understand the business, which is important. Technology will continue to change, but if you have that thrive and if you have that understanding on how to use technology and bridge the gap between technology and the business, you will be successful. So focus on things that matters and don't worry too much on tactical stuff. Programming language, yes and no.
Okay. Any boldest risks that you have taken or a critical decision making that had changed your career or
Haji,
made a massive impact on it?
Haji, many. So you don't see, if you, let's say where I sit in Singapore, you don't see many Pakistanis at that level. You don't see many Pakistanis come to that side of the world. You have to come out of your comfort zone. There is no other way, and you will never have answers to all of the questions that you have, right? So मैंने जो मेरी जैसे मैंने when I was at Oracle, I was really doing well and I was enjoying my career at Oracle. We have been successful, and then there was a reason of me moving out from Oracle to Microsoft because I wanted to build new skill sets. I wanted to understand what is Microsoft way of going out in the market and learning between the direct sales engine, which Oracle was, to an indirect selling agent. How do you work with partners? How do you build a function for scale? How do you build a team for scale? Those were the things that I wanted to learn at Microsoft. But then when I was leaving Oracle, I was really concerned spending 10 years at a company and you know everything. You become complacent, right? You know everybody. I can use my connects. I know the processes. I know my customers. I should be able to meet my numbers. Why change? But then that leap of faith helps you to learn. Put yourself into those unknown boundaries. Go out there. The world is still much bigger than some of these companies.
Okay. Okay. So you're based in Singapore and sitting in Singapore. How do you see Pakistan tech industry? That what do we talk about a lot but rarely act on?
So Pakistan की technology में especially the manpower, जो youth है ना, वो तो they're playing their part. And I could see the talent is coming up and they're fighting for their right, they're fighting for survival, and they're fighting for their fair share. And the example we've discussed about this earlier, freelancing, that was one of the elements. I think what's not happening is we are still fragmented. We are still siloed. And we need to come together as one nation, as one Pakistanis, and look at a broader perspective. Where do we go from here? Individuals have done an amazing job, and there are few exceptions of companies which are in Pakistan, and they've done a decent job. But collectively, as a nation, where do we go from here? When you look at IT exports can play a major part to solve a lot of Pakistani issues. We have the talent. All of our students, all of our college grads are very much ready to compete with anybody out in the market, right? So we have those elements covered. Where are we missing the bus? If I look at, do I have an Infosys in Pakistan? Do I have an Accenture in Pakistan? Do I have anything which is of that scale? No. So we got to learn from, we need to come together. We need to work with our policymakers. We need to work with our government. And we also need to work with some of the best business institutes, organizations, and our industries to say, how do we come together and keep our talent, retain our talent, foster our talent, and grow them? At the same time, build a business at that scale. Those are the things that I feel we're talking but we've not been able to solve it today.
Okay, talking about youngsters and freelancers, do you think we lack in policy making?
Definitely. I won't miss the words. We are definitely. क्या help कर रहे हैं हम अपने youngsters की? आप बताओ. इंटरनेट को तो हमने स्लो कर दिया. ठीक है. So we gotta help our youngsters.
इंटरनेट को हमने नहीं स्लो किया, वो शार्क की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है.
अच्छा, लेकिन वो I think हमें so I sit in Singapore, like I've spent about 14 years in Singapore, and when I look at the amount of investment that is coming out from the government and the relevant bodies to help students, first mentoring them in terms of what industries to go after, second giving them the right tools, because there's one part which is what you study in your universities, there's another part which is your technical qualification and your world experience or real world example experiences, right? So there are so many forums that are available whereby these students are getting themselves ready for the market, and that piece is non-existent in Pakistan, or literally it's been done in isolation with a few good examples. I think that's a piece we should solve.
In your opinion, what is technology? Is it a skill or a mindset?
I think it's both. When I look at technology, best part of this is with whatever is going on within technology and with generative AI coming in, conversational AI coming in, robotics and general AI is just around the corner. Technology is the driving force for true digital transformation. At the same time, the CIOs of the world or the CTOs of the world have a driving seat in the boardroom. They are reshaping the organization in terms of how do you work with your customers, your employees, and how can you innovate those products, right? So with that change in mind, so much can be done.
Okay. So next question is, have you ever built something that failed but taught you more than your wins ever could?
Great question. And I think you're smiling, but I'm sure everybody has. My part is the learning I had from my failures is at a different scale compared to my success, for sure. And when I look at, I was sharing it with somebody that one of the companies that I was working with, we had like 1/3 of resources compared to a competition, and we had to go back and fight. And initially, we were losing literally anything and everything within the business. We were losing. We were going out in the field, and we were losing it to competition, and we were chasing RFEs which were written by the competition. He said, "Let's just step back," and so that failure has put us into a position to say, "Hey guys, let's change the strategy. Let's go back in terms of relooked at where are we making mistakes, right?" And like we said, strategy eats culture eats the strategy for breakfast. So you need to build the culture, and then you need to focus on your strategy. And once you build the right strategy, then you can do the execution. Execution without a strategy is a recipe of disaster. So strategy we focus kare, strategy solve kare. So we've been able to solve that strategy. We've said we will not follow a Me Too strategy. We'll build our own strategy looking at the platform and the strength of the platform, and then crack the code. And those are the things that we've done, and we were super successful.
That's great. Next question is, if your team could only work 4 hours a day, what would you prioritize building?
Interesting. होना भी चाहिए 4 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours, let us enjoy. But I think if I were to look at my team and if I want them to focus just 4 hours in a day, I would try and focus on strategic stuff, right? Things that really matters. And what I would take away from the table is anything which is taking too much of time, admin stuff, operational stuff, things that can easily be handled by a machine, take it off the table. as humans, let's focus on things that matters.
ताकि वो अपने काम पे 100% फोकस कर सके
हाँ
जो
जी।
उसका काम है.
100% focus करेंगे और then they can bring that incremental value on the table. Like not just spending time on keeping the lights on, but focus on things that are of strategic in nature, right?
Sahi.
Where you can use your expertise.
Sure. Okay, so this one would be interesting for you. If you could time travel and give your younger self some advice before entering the tech space, what would it be?
I wanted to become a fighter pilot initially, by the way, just on a
Okay.
lighter note. Then I wanted to become a cricketer, and then eventually I become a technologist.
Okay, I wanted to be a cricketer too.
Acha. But going back on your question, so just to
Yes.
repeat, so your question is that if I'm a time traveler, what would be the advice I would give to my younger self?
If you could time travel and give your younger self some advice before entering the tech space, what would it be? Like before entering the tech space, what would that one
Find your
advice
passion. Find your passion. Work on your passion. You will only be successful if you really love your job, right? Those are the things that are important. I made a lot of mistakes. Started off as so I wanted, like I said, I wanted to become a fighter pilot. Then I wanted to become a cricketer, get into a technology space. But you will never have all the answers when you're starting off your career, right? You will have only the clarity will come to you. And nobody will have answer. If somebody is telling you right up front, I know my plans, I know everything, this is BS.
मैंने अभी भी लोगों को सुना है ये बोलते हुए कि यार मुझे तो मार्केटिंग डिपार्टमेंट में जाना चाहिए था, मैं तो गलती से आईटी में आ गया, या मुझे तो फाइनेंस में जाना था, मैं तो गलती से एडमिन में आ गया. व्हाट एडवाइस यू वुड लाइक टू गिव टू दोज पीपल?
अच्छा, इसमें हम जो करते हैं, स्पेशली एंड दिस इज अ ग्रेट प्रैक्टिस दैट आई हैव सीन इन मल्टीनेशनल, इज टू गिव यू रोटेशन, जॉब रोटेशन. और उसका फ़ायदा भी ये होता है कि यू गेट टू लर्न मल्टीपल रोल्स एंड रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज अक्रॉस द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, एंड दैट इवेंचुअली इज़ बेटर फॉर योर सेल्फ, राइट? इट्स अ वेल राउंडेड एक्सपीरियंस दैट यू आर इवेंचुअली लुकिंग एट. सो इफ no harm in getting into a finance role for a few years, no harm in getting into HR, no harm in getting into something else, right? If you do this, try and find out, limit your time frame, that I will go back and do this for, let's say, 1 year, 2 years, give my managers an ROI, and then I'll move to another department. But give yourself that exposure will always help, and that will broaden your horizon. So my advice to you, anybody who's into finance and you wanted to get into, so what, आप पहले वहाँ पे फाइनेंस को सीख लो, कैसे काम करते हैं, क्या होता है, किस तरीके से फाइनेंस सोचता है, क्योंकि ये चीज़ें जो है आपके लिए मैटर करेंगी इवेंचुअली व्हेन यू आर CEO at the CEO's level and the top person level. You need to know how these departments are coming together.
बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं. अच्छा, अब सीरियस बातें तो बहुत सारी कर ली,
अच्छा,
एडवाइसेस भी बहुत सारी बता दी. एक रैपिड फायर राउंड करते हैं जिसमें क्विक क्वेश्चंस होंगे और आपको क्विकली आंसर्स देने हैं उसके.
sure.
ठीक है. You wake up and AI now controls all of the Pakistan's bureaucracy. What's the first thing you ask it to fix?
सबके लिए एक रूल्स बनाए जी पाकिस्तान में, सबके लिए एक रूल्स बनाए. VIP कल्चर, टेक आउट दैट VIP कल्चर ऑफ द टेबल. इफ आई एम इन ब्यूरोक्रेसी, व्हाई? सो हम सेकंड सिटीजन तो नहीं है ना कोई भी. सो यू टेकिंग माई टैक्स मनी, why you should be treated differently. So everybody should be following the same path, and that's the only way country will be successful. सिंगापुर में प्राइम मिनिस्टर भी उसी लाइन में लगा रहेगा जहाँ पे जिस लाइन में हम हैं. हॉकर स्ट्रीट पे जो खाना मिलता है वहाँ पे सब खाते हैं, ठीक है? तो डिसिप्लिन लेके आए, फॉलो करें. आई थिंक
That's a good advice. Thank you. Okay, so next question is,
it converts within our lives though.
बिल्कुल ही आना चाहिए. Next question is, you have been selected to design Pakistan's first virtual city in the metaverse. What are the first 3 things you would like to add?
Yeah, focus on the core needs. Focus on the core needs. हम कहते हैं education. Without education, there is no future. Focus on education. Give people the right to live a quality life, which is health, right? And then infrastructure. So education, health and infrastructure, हम इन चीज़ों पे काम कर रहे हैं. So I would focus in metaverse. I would do it very differently. I would learn from the best examples in the world and bring it to Pakistan.
Okay, next question is, what if every time you use ChatGPT, it charged you in biryani plates? How often would you use it, and what prompt would be worth a full plate?
The prompt has to be super good, right? Prompt has to be super meaningful. I would ask the hard questions. I would ask crazy questions that how can I solve the debt issues of Pakistan within 24 hours? Okay. How do we solve our traffic issues, right? Traffic problems within. Do we need air taxis? Do we need Hyperloop? Do we need something else? But yeah, those I will try and ask some of those creative questions.
ट्रैफिक का तो मुझे पता है आप क्यों कह रहे हैं, क्योंकि अभी आप एयरपोर्ट से होते हुए आए हैं यहाँ पे.
हाँ जी, ऐसी है.
सही है. Okay, next question is, what if Pakistan's next election happened entirely on blockchain app? What feature would you add to make sure it's foolproof?
अच्छा, so long it's on blockchain, we all know कि वो transparency तो आ जाएगी, ठीक है, और वो भी हो जाएगी. The only thing I would ensure कि system जो है वो
बैठ नहीं जाए.
वो बैठ ना जाए. The only thing I would ensure कि system will remain active throughout the process.
सही है. ठीक है. Okay, my next question is, what if your smartphone could read your emotions, but it starts giving you mood-based app suggestions? What app does it recommend you on your most stressed day?
On a stress day, and being in sales, being as part of these strategists, you often get a very similar situation, right? And which means you at times have to distract. You need to get into those zones, which is where you find your peace, you're enjoying something that you love. I'm very much a sportsman. So I play cricket, I play tennis. My new passion in Singapore is tennis. So I would go into an app which can offer me some of these things. Like a good tennis match, or Rafael Nadal versus Djokovic, or Roger Federer versus anybody else, or even the new players, Jackson. I don't know how much do you know of Jackson, but yeah, those are the places I would go for to relieve myself and get back in the game.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure, and wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you so much for watching Sifar से सब. Next time Akkasha हमारे पास आएंगे तो हम इनको दोबारा invite करेंगे. Keep watching Techistaan.